am Linda Pringle Evans, and I am thrilled to be here with you on today. You know, every time we come together, it just energizes me. I get a whole new breath of fresh air, a new sense of community, a new sense of how we as women are galvanizing and supporting one another and seeing that no matter what, we can accomplish what we set our minds to. So, ladies, I want you to know from my heart to your heart, there isn't anything impossible for you or myself. All we have to do is believe in ourselves and ask for help when we need it and get the right help, not just ask for help, but know the right help to ask for. So, but that's enough about that. I am excited to have one of our, you know her. I don't have to even give you a bio about her anymore. She is the WomeNomics Be Fit Financial Planner Advisor, really, not just a planner. She is the Be Fit Financial Advisor. I always call her the Be Fit Financial Diva because she is the diva of women. So I am excited that Michele Von Hoven is here with me today. Welcome, Michele.
Hi, Linda. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm always very happy to be here and share some knowledge with the ladies and yourself. And time's valuable, so we respect the ladies' time, and we like to give you some good golden nuggets of information.
That's right.
And so just to, be clear, I'm the Be Fit Financially is my firm, and I'm so thrilled to share the information. And I even have it registered, the Financial Fitness Diva. So I will be adding that to my website. So anyway, it's how this has all evolved is great.
It
So
has.
yes, and thank you for allowing me to be here and to share and learn, and especially your wisdom as well. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Michele. Today I thought we would discuss something that is we are all experiencing currently in our lives on a daily basis right now. And that is how inflation is affecting us. And I know that there are some individuals, and today's show is going to be for men and women, really, when we think about it. How our topic is how inflation affects us. So I think to begin, Michele, some people don't really understand exactly what is inflation. So could we begin with the explanation of inflation regarding the economy?
Yes, absolutely. And that's a very good place to start, because we just hear so much of it on the news, and everybody knows the effect it has on your pocketbook right now. We've seen it in the last year. But the actual definition of inflation is the effect on the dollar's worth now and in the future. And it eats the value of the dollar. So it's an increase in the general price level of goods and services in the economy. And that's what we talked about, the actual definition of inflation. A lot of people have the understanding it affects your purchasing power of your dollar. What's a dollar worth today? What's it worth even tomorrow? A lot of times as a wealth strategist, I project out how much you'll need in 10 years or 20 years to see that what you have today, even with a normal inflation that we had prior to around 2020, is then when it really started to ratchet up. So that's inflation. And do you want me just to go in the difference of a recession?
Absolutely, because I've heard some think inflation and recession is basically the same, but they aren't. So do you mind sharing what recession is and the differences?
Absolutely. So inflation is the effect it actually has on the dollar and the purchasing power. A recession describes a business cycle of contraction, pullback, and what's happening in that business cycle. So as we go now, and that is technically 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP, which is gross domestic product. That's what the country is built on. How much output do we have in the production of products that are going forward? You know, right now it's not really a lot right now. It is down. We do have the high inflation, the increase of cost of goods. It may have come down a little bit, but I have to explain that, you know, why we're looking like, and in my opinion and opinion of some of my cohorts, I mean, the numbers are narrowing, and it does look like we're, with the recession, would probably be in effect mid-year, and by the time the media announces it, it'll probably be the third quarter. So a recession is a lagging indicator. Lagging, meaning that by the time it's reported, it's already happened.
Mhm.
So there are leading indicators. Now, inflation can tell us that's a leading indicator. We see it going up, 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 and how is that going to affect our money and the power of our money? So that's what the real difference. One is a leading indicator, one is a lagging indicator. And I have some numbers. So from April 20 of 22 to 23, just as a, you know, close look at it. So
Mhm.
the consumer prices for all items, less food and energy. This is what's so critical to understand, that these basic numbers you're looking at that are reported by the Bureau of Statistics is less food and energy. And so they say that average inflation is up 5.5% roughly. But with it, when you add, you know, food and shelter and prices, then it was at 8.1%. So it's really, you've got to not look at the media number that says, oh, everything's going down or it's coming down. Well, it's not the true measurement. And who doesn't, I mean, we all need food.
Mhm.
We may not need some services, but we sure need food. So why wouldn't that indicator show that? It's a little misleading, and I like to make sure that people understand that. So when you're projecting what you need and budgeting for now and for the future, you need to add that higher. But here's the real, you know, I guess as we say in the French way, coup de grace of it all, is that you really have to look at the healthcare inflation, which is higher. And it has always been higher. You know, prior to the pandemic, doing an analysis for someone, I looked at a 3 to 4% inflation. I always like to look a little higher because, well, right, look where we are now. So even at that time, when I was looking at general goods and services inflation, plus the food and the shelter, I'd go say 4%. Then I'd add in another 3 to 4% because healthcare is that much higher, and so is education costs. So education costs and healthcare seemingly parallel each other in the higher inflation numbers.
Wow. You know, you don't take all of that into consideration, you know, as an individual consumer. When we go to grocery shop or we go to the gas station, you know, our everyday spending, we see the higher prices. Even though right now I've begun to see some of the prices on eggs are coming down slightly, and gas prices. But when you look at the overall cost of living, it's still high.
It's very high, and as I said,
Yeah.
they're not. When you look at that CPI and it says it's right around 5.5 or 6%, it's not. It's disingenuous. I
Okay.
feel. I really, and I've always felt that way, because it's not right, because that is one of the single greatest risk to your
Mm.
savings, to your future, is the inflation risk.
And
And
we have
that's
no
why
control over that at all.
they don't. And that's why a professional, true advisor that does a real plan, a written plan,
Mhm.
factors all this in and can see, well, what is the longevity of your money?
Mhm.
Well, we have to look at healthy longevity. we know we're living longer. We've discussed this in on other shows. Women particularly outliving men, becoming single. 80%. Do you know 80% of men die married? They marry.
Really?
That leaves the woman. Yeah. So the
80%?
80% of married married men will die married. Let me correct that. Married men will die married. So that means that the spouse is the one that has to deal with this longevity risk, and hopefully your health is not going to be absorbed by those higher inflation costs. And then the most health costs are expended at the last 6 months of life. That's where it's really up there. So, to put this in perspective of a dollar amount, would you like me to do that? And
Yes, please,
give a
because I
perspective?
want our viewers to really get this and understand it. And by the way, if any of you have questions, please reach out to Michele Von Hoven. Michele would be happy to provide a complimentary session with you so that you can get an idea of what your needs are and how she can help you as well. Okay, Michele?
Perfect. Thank you, Linda. Yeah, and we'll give out the website later where they can come and just request. And I'm happy to do a 30 to 45-minute consultation for the women of WomeNomics and just have a chat and see if there's something you wanted to address in any of these sessions or, wanted to review. So, okay, the effects of inflation. So you want to maintain your standard of living. And even as you go through life and the years and whatever stage you're in, and most particularly in retirement. I don't know anybody that wants to change their standard of living once they retire.
No.
And that means that, if you're used to going out to dinner once a week, which most people, Friday, Saturday night dinner or Sunday brunch or whatever, you want to continue to do that. Well, while you're doing that, those costs are getting higher as well.
That's right.
So what does that mean? So I ran some reports on some different dollar values. And so when I ran it, the effective inflation, they said that the last 55 years, the annual inflation rate in the US has been right under 4%. So when you do it, and that's the general inflation. So that's exactly where I was. And then knowing that I was projecting retirement plans and future planning at a 4% inflation rate, and then tweaking it for the healthcare, it gives you a really good idea of what you need to do now to prepare for even next year or 10 years from now. So inflation rate. Well, so let's say inflation 6%. And I ran this little chart. So number of years from now, 10 years. 10 years, 6% inflation rate. You have $10,000 today. So in that 10th year, by then, in order to have the same spending power, you will need $17,900.
Wow.
So
that's really putting it where you can see it. You can see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can.
And if you're in a 1% savings account, you can see how that 1% savings account isn't going to do you good. Now, I know right now, today, people saying, I'm getting 4 or 5% in my CD for like 9 months. Well, just like that wasn't available for the last almost 15 years. So the retirees who retired within that time period were just, stretching to get some type of, hedge against inflation. So the numbers are real, 10,000 today, 6% inflation, 10 years, I'm going to need $17,900, call it $18,000. Now let me add in healthcare for you. So let's look at if it's healthcare. So with 6% inflation, I'll just throw in 4% for healthcare. That puts you at a 10% inflation rate. 10 years, 10% inflation, $10,000. You will need $25,900.
And you know what, Michele, you're using 10 years.
Yeah,
And today, it does not take 10 years, a long time to occur within our life and within our lifetime.
Oh, exactly. So, if you wanted to even look at 5 years, I mean, I have I have
Um,
certain tools that I use that I can tell you a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And these are just some of the things you want to see, that I run the numbers, but I ran another one just for people who might be looking, whether you want a 10-year plan, like I might need a new car in 10 years, let's say. Okay,
fun.
you want to put down $10,000. Well, and I have my nice little my little savings, my liquid savings,
Mhm.
liquid. That's the key, right? Liquid, people want
Liquid.
liquidity, but when you get liquidity, you give up returns. You don't get that much of a hedge there, and the
Mhm.
money's not really going to grow. Now, there's a whole nother discussion we can go into, what's your real rate of return, because whatever you're getting, let's see, I ran some other numbers here. Let me show you this. The effect of, I did run another couple for you here. I went to even 30 years, $10,000, for anybody looking to look in 30 years, a 30-year retirement, 40-year retirement, $10,000, 9% inflation rate, you need $132,000. We're talking $10,000 today, 9%.
Goodness. But you know what? Let's be honest, when we think back
Mhm,
years ago within our own lifetime, our life
mhm,
experiences, think of what prices were in the 70s. We'll just say the 70s
sure.
and where they are today. It's
Oh,
alarming.
you know it.
It
Yeah,
is.
it is alarming. And then when you look at, so the whole point of this is to know that, why does inflation matter?
Mhm,
Because you having to work harder to make more money to
mhm.
pay for these additional goods and services and just living, really. And
Absolutely.
yeah, so, and as you get older, and like I said, with the healthcare spending just gets larger and
Mhm.
larger. Hopefully not too large, but and then for some people who maybe not, look at their health as closely as they should. Uh, we could go to a whole nother extreme on that.
Yes,
But
yes,
you have to understand how inflation impacts your expenses, and familiarize yourself with this. And
yes.
people say, "Oh, I don't want to invest money," or "I'm afraid." Well, you need to be more afraid of how much money you're going to need in the future
That's
than
right.
not taking some time to understand how money works.
And you know something, Michelle, as you are sharing this information, I'm constantly thinking about if we had known this early on, say in our 20s, and made decisions about the future 30 years from now, from that time, it would have made a huge difference for a lot of us as women. I'm speaking of women right now
Sure.
because I know that there's still many women who have reached retirement age, and because of situations like inflation, they can't afford to retire. And they've said that to me. I
Mhm.
cannot retire because I would not have enough money coming in monthly to take care of my living expenses. And like you stated earlier, nobody really want to change their lifestyle because they've gotten older. That's not it. Even if they decide to downsize the lifestyle that they have grown accustomed to,
Mhm.
they still want to be able to live it. So this is
Right.
why it is so important for us to start being better. I go to the Bible, being a better steward
Mhm.
with our money, because when we do, it positions us, as I always say, so we can age well with financial freedom. And who does not want financial freedom? We can't control inflation. We can't control a recession,
Yeah.
but we can prepare ourselves. That we can do. And
That's
that's
right.
what
We can control what we do with our money.
absolutely.
And that's why,
Yes.
a lot of women don't want to, they feel like it's risky to do anything outside of a bank account. I can't tell you how many people I've had, you hear over the years and they say, oh, I just want to be at the bank. Well, the bank is there to make loans. The bank is not there to make you wealthy at all.
No,
The whole
no.
point of a bank is to make you a loan. And they take your money that they're paying you, little bitty percentage on, and
Mhm.
you are a loaner. You are lending that bank your money, and they're giving you an interest rate, and they're turning around and taking that money and lending it out and making 2 to 3 times on your money. So I say, why don't you go and make it, yourself? Now, I'm not advocating to go lend money, but learn what money does, because money makes money. Einstein called compound interest the 8th wonder of the world. He just thought it was so amazing. And it is. It
Yes.
really
Yes.
is. And for women who are fearful, and like you say, that they don't have enough money, then 1 in 5 people rely on Social Security for their income.
Yeah.
1 in 5, and in 1 in 3, it's 90% of their income. And in 2 out of 3, it's more than 50% of the income. So my question is, can you live on Social Security?
Mm-mm.
Wasn't meant to be a an income to you. It was a supplement.
Yes.
And people don't realize that, and they think, oh, Social Security, I have Social Security. Well, we're going through an evolution of things. We had, different, when Social Security was set up, the life expectancy was like 65.
That's
So
right.
they allowed you to start taking it at 62, knowing they're only going to pay it for 3 years,
Mhm.
pretty much on average. And so it wasn't intended to be this big pool. Now, people who contribute to Social Security deserve to get the return on it. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And so you will. And there's a lot of controversy over whether or not the Social Security system will be there, by 2035. And, there's so much misinformation out there.
Yeah.
And it really, I just am not comfortable the way some politicians use it as their marketing tool.
Mhm.
And Social Security is not going to default. It will not, because there are too many voters that are receiving it, that have paid in it,
Oh,
and it's a
yes.
separate fund. It's all
Yes.
separate. So it's it's talking points, and please, when anybody hears that, turn it off. Just turn it off. Work on your plan, on what
Yes.
you need to do, not what the media is marketing to you to sell advertisement. Because just like the banks are in business to make you loans, the
Mhm.
media is in business to sell advertising.
Absolutely. To stay on the air.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. And so we don't, it's not bad to have advertising, but
Mm-mm.
if that's your advisor, oh, no, it's not your advisor.
No,
You're a
no, no.
unique individual. So take care of your unique needs.
And it
So
doesn't matter where you are.
that's
It's
right.
it's about where you can start and how you can finish. That's what's so
Mm,
important. So it
right.
doesn't, you don't, I'm sure Michele will say that, will agree with me. You don't need to start with a large sum of money. Start with what you have and have someone like Michele to guide you and help you to grow it. You will be surprised what you will see later on in life. And I read in the AARP magazine that the median Social Security income is like $1,555 per month. So Michele asked a question about, can you live off Social Security alone? Think about that. If that's the average $1,555, think about what it would cost if you're still making a mortgage payment or having
Mm,
to pay rent, and all the other expenses that go along with it. Would you be able to maintain the lifestyle that you have grown accustomed to and would like to continue? So again, This is why Michele Von Hoven is our financial diva, because I want you to be able to have someone that you can trust to give you information that is based on your needs, not her needs, but what are your needs to get you to live the life that you imagine. So, Michele, tell them how they can connect with you, please.
Yes, please contact me. Just send me a quick little email at Michele, and that's Michele with one L, Michele at befitfinancially.com. That's BEFIT FINANCIALLY.com.
So,
So
as
just
always, it's a pleasure. You have given our viewers and listeners so many good nuggets here today. And I just want to say, when we come back together again very soon, we will be able to share some exciting news about Womenomics. I've been holding back, waiting for the appropriate time to share it, but we have something really good coming for you, ladies. And if you're someone who is looking to grow your business, or if you want to become branded online with an indelible presence, just reach out to Pringle Business Consulting. We will be happy to help you. That is at www.pringlebusinessconsulting.com, and we will respond within 24 hours. So as always, we are here to say we love you, we appreciate you, and live the life you imagine. To your success. Bye-bye.